Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Warren Bennett and we've got Trev down there doing his Trev thing, chasing his tail. And this video is all about the differences that I've seen, and one specific difference that I see between low and high handicap golfers. So I'm just going to get the camera set up, the back camera this time, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Okay, so I would say that I've played with a vast amount of golfers in my time. So excluding the professional, I would say I've played with the whole range of different golfers, through from the beginner through to the high handicapper and the low handicappers. And I would say the biggest difference I would see in an elite low, or not elite, just a low handicap golfer compared to a high one, is where they are at impact. A lot of high handicap golfers and beginners stay back behind the ball, and I'm going to show you a few pointers here that you can take onto the golf course straight away for instant kind of improvement. Because what you want to do, impact being the most important position, if you're in the correct position at impact, has a massive influence of where this club meets the ball. It's called low point. It's basically where the club meets the ground, really. So if your club's making proper contact of where you want it every time, the ball will get in the way and you're going to improve your strike and you're going to improve your distance as well. And hitting the ball correctly, it's a lovely feeling, isn't it? Hitting the ball poorly, the thinning or fatting the ball, you can really lose your confidence no matter what club you're hitting, especially kind of fatting the ball. Thinning's always better, I would say, because it's going to go further, but especially hitting the ground first, it's really it really takes a lot of confidence out of you, and obviously the result is going to be quite extreme as well, with the ball not going very far. So what you want to do is give yourself the best chance for this club to meet the ground, because really, when you think about it, we haven't got a lot of control of where this club meets the ground. It's just happening, kind of a flash moment. So putting yourself in the correct position is going to have a massive influence and help to your golf game. So I'm going to just hit a few, and there's going to be 2 points of reference. I'm going to do, the first one is my head. Trev do his business there in the background. Thank you for that, Trev. Focus on is my head. So especially in the backswing, it's not going to move very far. You can see it's not moving around at all. There's obviously a little bit of movement, but my head stays very still on the backswing and very still on the downswing until after impact, and then it gets pulled up. So the first point, you can see the line through the middle of my body basically, because with an iron my head is pretty much over the ball here. So what you don't want to do is sway off the ball. You don't want your head behind the ball too much with an iron. We don't want it behind the ball at all, really. With a driver, it's obviously going to be behind the ball because I'm not forcing it behind. It's just because the ball's off my left toe, left-hand side of my stance more. So naturally, it's going to be, my head's going to be behind the ball. But with an iron, I'd like it kind of pretty centred, actually. Off your left ear is acceptable. But what you don't want to do is start swaying on the backswing. So keeping your head nice and still, as you can see with the line there, I keep it very still and very still. So there's not a lot of movement. Everything pivots around this head. I'm going to keep hitting and show you these slow motion swings. At the moment, it's just the head to focus on. So it's the top of the axis, and if that stays nice and still, everything can work correctly around that. Keeping your head still is a great feeling, but everything has to move and twist around that. It's not just keeping your head still as well as your body. So if I had kind of arrows sticking out of my body here, my torso, say belly button, and the sternum, belt buckle area, it doesn't just keep looking at the front camera at you guys, it twists more behind me. So this 45-degree angle, I go on about it all the time, and I will still go on about it because it's so important how we coil on the backswing. Okay, so that's the first area I'd like you to focus on, keeping your head still whilst you're twisting through on the backswing. Remember, keeping your head still is the best and worst swing thought you can have. If you do it correctly, it's the best one, because what you want to do, remember, at impact, there's your stance, there's impact. I'll show you a few slow-mo impact positions. It's obviously going to be a little bit less than this, but if I'm more forward at impact, which you're looking for to have that compression down into the ball, you've got to be ahead of the ball at impact. You've got to have your momentum and your body moving through and past the ball. but not your head. You cannot do it with your head, so you're not leaning into the ball like that, because you'll probably just top it and hit the North Pole. Until after impact, and probably to about here, it starts getting pulled up. It's not just lifting up, it's getting pulled up by the momentum and the slingshot of my claw and arms going down the line. Right, okay, so the secondary feeling is at the top of the backswing. Like I said, we're keeping our head still, but we're not staying still on other areas, and especially the bottom half. So this is the tricky thing about golf. Some things move while some things are in motion, and you've got to get that sequence right. So at the top of the backswing, what you're looking for, well, actually I'll hit a few balls, and you can see now I've drawn some lines either side of my hips. So on the backswing, we're keeping our right hip inside that line. And now on the downswing, we're pushing and kind of momentum's going forward, and then we twist. So I'm going to walk you through that a little bit slower, but we'll do a few slow motions. As you can see on the swing here, on the backswing, we're keeping our hips, watch the net, we're keeping our hips inside the gate, and then the downswing, we're not sliding, but there's a momentum push off this right side, which is then pushing my left hip past that white line, as you can see. Okay, so slow motion, what you're looking for. So there's the two white lines. I'll show you in kind of real time here. In slow motion, I'm twisting. So you can see my right hip is missing that white line there. And then on the downswing, what I'd like you to do is there's a shift over. It's not a massive shift. Remember, you're keeping your head still at the same time. So this is a little two feeling juggle we've got here. So there's a twisting. So your right hip doesn't bump, because if you're bumping that right hip, you're going to be tilted. So there's a twisting going on whilst you're keeping your head still over the ball. This is going to improve your strike no end, everyone, and it's going to help you guys that are over the top as well. So it's going to help you drop it in the slot. So twisting, and your right hip stays back away from that line, and on the downswing, there's a shift over. You can see now my hips are going forward before they start twisting. So there's your little sequence. It's a twist, it's a lateral shift forward, which brings this into the slot. You can see from the behind view I haven't kind of twisted yet, because what you don't want to do from the top of the backswing is just twist. There's a momentum shift over to the left, which is making that white line. You can see I'm bumping my hip into that white line. Both hips are kind of sliding from here, which is getting me past the ball. And then you can see there's that impact position. This is exaggerated, and that's going to give you that compression and that strike down. Okay, so let me just show you a few of these. So focus on these hips. I've put obviously a few slow-mos in there. Remember, everything stays as still as you can, feeling in terms of head. Nothing moves there, everyone. Put this ball in the sun. Hips, shift, pivot through. And you'll never hit the ground first. Remember, why do you hit the ground first? There are a majority of answers to that. It's not just one. But the biggest thing I see, and this is what this video is all about, the difference between the lows and the high handicap golfers, is where you are at impact. You're behind the ball, you high handicappers, the majority. If you're thinning and fatting the ball, it's basically telling you that you're behind, your hands are behind the ball, and you've trained this club to hit up. Okay, so what you don't want to do, remember, you don't want to shift and bump all your weight by swaying over to your right side. You might have heard, let's put some pressure, let's put some weight on our right leg, which I obviously am doing, but now you can see I'm way outside the gate. My left hip is way away from the left hand. As you look at it, it's a right hand line, and now I've got such a long way to go, and it's not going to happen in time, because if you stay over the ball with your head and twist, now you've only got a little way to go. And now you're in the position for this club to drop in the slot more. You can see from the behind view it would want to drop down, because this feeling going that way is going to encourage the club to drop down. And more importantly, with some lag as well, so with some angle you can see between my arms and the club shaft, and that's going to give you that compression. So remember, this video is all about improving your strike, but improving your strike just doesn't come. You have to be in the position for your arms to be in the correct place, and your hands to be in the correct place, and so the club will be in the correct place. It doesn't happen just by forcing it. You can, but it won't be consistent. My teaching is all about you to improve, obviously, but to be consistent at the same time, and for you to understand, because there's no question you're going to hit some poor shots, but the secret is to not let the poor shots accumulate, and then you're spiraling out of control and you want to walk off the golf course. I'm here for you to understand, for you to think, right, okay, what can I do to improve this? Okay, let's try that. Bang, it works. Trev moves out the way. Trev, what are you going to do, bud? Oh, he's going to lie down. Cool. Let me move out the way a bit. So remember, the backswing, we are twisting our body. Sorry to be a broken record, but it's so important to do that. If you're not twisting your body and just sliding, it's going to be extremely hard, if not impossible, to do it correctly. So twist. Now you can see I'm still on top of the ball, I haven't moved my head, and now from here there's a small lateral shift. You don't have to go mad, but there's a small pressure shift over to my left. You can see now you could put something like an aim stick here and you can kind of bump into it. Remember, we're not twisting yet, and then from here there's a big twist through, so it's a kind of a simultaneous, happens so quickly. But remember, I'd rather be this side of the fence forward than back. Right, I'm going to show you a few. I've got a few balls left, so okay, let's go. So nice and twisty, head, shift through. I struck that reasonably well there. So that's the biggest difference, folks, between high and low handicap golfers. If you introduce that backswing feeling and then a little bit of movement here, I guarantee this club's going to have more chance to hit that golf ball first and then the ground. So that's compression. Okay, everyone, so good luck with everything. Thank you for joining me on the channel. Thank you for joining me on this video. If this is something that you feel that can improve your game and you give it a go, please contact me here on the channel. Love to hear from you. Love to hear some feedback. And if you find this of some use to you, I'd love to have you along as a subscriber. So please hit that subscribe button if you can. So from myself and quite a warm Trev, actually, we'll see you on the next one. Have a great golfing week. Stay healthy on and off the golf course, and we'll see you next time. Cheerio. Good boy. Oh, he's clever.